Hello, this is Apostle Dwayne again, and this is a dream I had on May 6th of this year. Okay, this is from May, I'm sorry, the dream is from May 3rd, but I wrote it down on May 6th. Sometimes you get busy, you just time. And in any case, I had a long dream that I don't remember the whole of. I do remember the last part of the dream. I was in a car driving up the street. Then I turned right into a drive-in movie theater driveway, or a driveway leading into a drive-in. The driveway entrance was guarded by Freemasons who approved or denied entrance based on whether you were one of them. As I approached the guard, he initially detained me, but then another person came up to him and said, "Let everyone in." So I went in, and it's not in here, but there were a lot of other cars behind me that went in too. There were a lot of other people, including the president, Mr. Obama, uh, in this drive-in, and he was sitting in the front passenger seat of what I think was a Rolls Royce. I do not remember who was in the driver's seat, but I do remember a Caucasian couple sitting in the back seat. The movie that we were there to see was The Birth of the Antichrist. As I looked at the movie screen, I saw what looked like the head of a baby with the body of an octopus. However, each of the arms were different. One was like a rosary, another like an insect. Each of them were different, and none like the other, if my memory is correct, and none like the other if my memory is correct. I cannot describe in each detail because my look was very brief, or I cannot describe each in detail because my look was very brief. As soon as the birth was finished, I remembered the car that the president was in left very quickly. It backed up and turned around and sped away. In another dream, I saw spiders eating what appeared to be a cooked set of ribs. They were large spiders, but not as big as tarantulas. They could have been black widows or something similar. Okay, so let's go through this. So a lot of times, sometimes I get these long dreams and I can't remember part, but then, I get the part that's vivid that I do remember. And in this last part of the dream, I was in a car driving up the street. Now, cars, my life, just driving, going through life. And I was driving up the street. Then I turned right into a drive-in movie theater. Not sure why, going to see something. The driveway entrance was guarded by Freemasons. Now, there's secret societies and all this stuff. Most of the government, is made up of them. And they approved or denied entrance based on whether you're one of them, and that's one of their things. Can't get into certain jobs, can't get into certain positions without their consent. A lot of secrets. As I approached the guard, he initially detained me, but then another person came up to him and said, "Let everyone in." And so what I think that is, God has been revealing to his church and to people all around the world what's going on in these organizations and these people. I never even knew anything about this stuff until a few years ago. And then really last year was really taken to another level in some of the teachings. But the main thing you have to understand about that stuff is these secret organizations and all this stuff. They're connected. They connected, and they all meet at the top. And they're going to be under the antichrist, and they're not Christian. You can't be a Christian and be in these organizations because some of the oaths and things they make you do are satanic. And if you know somebody who's in it, or if you're in it, get out. Because God will destroy you. When you go before the Lord in one of those organizations, you're not going to make it. He's not going to accept you, period. There's too many things that you have to do. The Lord said you can't serve two masters. You'll have one, you'll love one and hate the other, or you'll serve one and despise the other. And you know how you know which one you love? It's the one you serve. You know how you know which one you hate? It's the one you don't. It's the one you despise. And so if you are obedient to Christ, then he's the one you love. But if you're disobedient to Christ, he's the one you hate. And if you think you're being obedient to Christ, but you're serving some people or organizations or whatever, or money or anything, that God has told you is an abomination to him, guess what? That's your master. Okay? And so, and what they do is they control information. These secret organizations and people, they're real secretive and everything's cloaked. And right here, so when as I approached, the guard, he initially detained me, but then another person came up to him and said, "Let everyone in." So I went in. Okay? And so, a lot of the information that they've been holding on to, it's being exposed. There's whistleblowers all over the place. And so that's how I find out. And so I went in. Okay, now there were a lot of other people there, including the President Obama, sitting in the front passenger seat in what I think was a Rolls Royce, watching the screen. They're watching the screen, waiting to see the birth of the Antichrist. Okay, now here's the funny thing, and it was a Rolls. Okay, so the Rolls Royce is British, and he was just over in Britain earlier in this year. For a number of things, and there's a picture of him riding around with the Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth and I guess Michelle Obama were in the back seat, and Prince Philip I guess was driving, but in any case, and so they're all in that stuff. So. And so, and he was sitting in the front passenger seat, so he wasn't driving, okay? And he was watching the birth on this screen. Guess what? President Obama is not the Antichrist. People have been saying that for a while, and he's not. The Antichrist is going to be white. He's going to be Caucasian. It's going to be white supremacy. No white supremacist is going to worship a black man as the Antichrist. It don't even make sense. Okay, Donald Trump is closer to being the Antichrist than President Obama or Barack Obama, and but they're all serving the same masters. All the same stuff is happening. President Obama, many of his policies have been no different than Bush, and so yeah, he may have saved the economy in one respect, but he also presided over handing a ton of money to the international bankers off of our deal, and a lot of people don't understand that, but that was collusion. They set up the economy to crash, and then they set up themselves to pay for it on our backs, and they need the people because they need the labor. That's what they need the masses for. We're labor. We're the physical effort to build the trade towers, the same towers that they blow up and bring back down, and then they want to build some more. They need the masses for the labor, while they sit at the top and just control the money and the governments. And so anyway, and he was sitting in the front passenger seat of what I think was a Rolls Royce. I do not remember who was in the driver's seat, but I do remember a Caucasian couple sitting in the back seat. They're the ones who had the authority, because in the limo, the person who's in charge is the one who's sitting in the back. So it's not him. So the Lord is showing us here that it's not him. And so all this stuff about there not being an election, I don't believe, or we just had the election, and everybody said there wasn't going to be an election, and now there's people saying that they're saying there's going to go martial law or something like that before he leaves office, and I don't believe any of that. It shows here that he sped away. The movie that we were to see was The Birth of the Antichrist. As I looked at the movie screen, I saw what looked like a head of a baby octopus, a head of a baby with the body of an octopus. So the thing that we have to understand about this person when they assume power, and if President Obama is watching this, it has to be Trump. In my opinion, or somebody soon. It's somebody coming soon, and it could be within within the next generation. Who knows? But it's coming soon. If they're watching the birth of it happen. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this person is in the earth now. Okay, we're too close, and then they had the head of a baby in the body of an octopus. Now, a baby could be a number of things. Not sure. We'll find out. But again, sometimes youthfulness or the descriptions of lustful and youthful lust or something like that. You don't know. That could just be a characteristic, or just young. but the 8 legs means that he's going to preside, that he's got, you know, a lot more to him than just a regular person, and that he's going to have tentacles into all kinds of stuff. And then each leg was different. You know, there was different attributes. You know, the insect leg could have been, you know, something to do with secret societies, or who knows, who knows. The rosaries, Catholicism, the Vatican. You know, I mean, these people are all connected at the top. However, each of the arms were different. One was like a rosary, another was like an insect. Each of them were different, and none of them like another, if my memory is correct. And again, when I had the dream, I just had a really brief look at that screen, and it wasn't like I could see the actual person. I cannot describe in each detail because my look was very brief. As soon as the birth was finished, I remember the car that the president was in left very quickly. It backed up and turned around and sped away. So, and that's him leaving office. This next dream, I saw spiders eating what appeared to be cooked ribs. Don't know about that one. We'll see what the Lord reveals on that as the days move forward. Okay, this is Apostle Dwayne, and that's a dream from this year, from May 3rd, 2016.